The unit of analysis, germ cell, are definitely part of the Marxist tradition, and the evidence of that is it's found in the preface written by Marx to the first edition of Capital. So you can't argue with that. It has its lineage stretching back into classical German philosophy in the 18th century, through Herder, through Goethe, through Hegel, and from Hegel to Marx. And Vygotsky picked it up from Marx. Now, it's true that the overwhelming majority of people that call themselves Marxists won't know anything about a unit of analysis, and will only have will not see the significance of the idea of a germ cell. They will have possibly read the reference to it in Marx, but it's only the Vygotsky people that have really picked up this concept and run with it. Okay? Right. Look, you can't take Marxism as a variety of leftism, really. I mean, yes, of course it is, but it's not a very helpful way of coming at Marxism. Just give me a minute. Marxism is, of course, on the left of the political spectrum, insofar as it's meaningful to say that. But you'll find plenty of criticism of leftism in the writings of Marxists. Really, the idea is to be absolutely down the centre, not down the centre of popular opinion, down the centre of the reality, right? Not to too much for putting forward ideas that are pie in the sky, that put the interests of some marginal section above the interests of the mass majority, nor in an opportunist way of just giving in to what everybody thinks and going with the flow, right? So Marxist is not leftist in that sense. The classical definition of trying to make socialism scientific, it's a cliche, but it's basically right. So yes, it doesn't appear to be anything left-wing about the idea of a unit of analysis. I can't argue with that. Don't think there is. But it's a powerful concept for understanding things as a whole. And what is characteristic of Marxism and characteristic of any decent kind of leftism is approaching any particular problem from an overall view. And the best way of getting an overall view is through a concept of the unit of analysis. Okay. Next question. Yes, there is, of course, a problem of making a mistake in identifying a unit of analysis. It's not really so much as making a mistake. You see, if you choose a unit of analysis, that gives you a specific lens into the world. You know, if you take some relation and then you look at how this relation develops if it's generalized. If this simple something becomes universal, what have you got? Now, if you do that correctly, in the sense that you follow the logic of the unit, then and you inform yourself through observation rather than just doing it in your head, then you'll get an understanding of something. That something may be quite a marginal phenomenon. Like you might be in a medical field or perhaps a psychiatric field and come across some rather odd mental problem, and you can reduce that to a unit of analysis, and you might get a picture of that phenomenon that gives you a very clear concept of it, but it'd be very marginal to life as a whole. There is an art to taking some situation of general or personal interest, a complex problem, and finding that simple something, that concrete simple something that one can understand viscerally, which characterizes the whole. There's an art to that, but if you don't do that correctly, you'll just get a partial picture. Now, there is a possibility of doing this kind of thing completely erroneously, like taking some relationship and simply asserting that this is everywhere. I'll give you an example, what in my view is an erroneous application. Michel Foucault is a French philosopher, very popular nowadays among the people on the left. And he looked back in history and found in the origins of mass conscription into the military and the establishment of prisons in the 18th century to be like the germ cell of modern society. And he analysed modern day society as a kind of process of mass control. Yeah? Now, that's a view, but in my view, it's completely erroneous in explaining the kind of world we live in. But it expresses a view, right? And, there's all sorts of like, I'll give you another example. Mainstream economics says that the unit of analysis for economics is the rational actor, the individual who has, it's in the simplest instance, a fantastic ability to calculate their own rational material self-interest and act accordingly. And that if you take that to be the unit of economics, that you can, you in fact, you unfold the entire science of economics. Now, that simple unit has been elaborated. For instance, that the irrational actor may have incomplete information, or they may get their information with some delay, receive messages late, and that requires a more complex analysis. And it's anyway, you build up the science of economics that way. It gives you an insight. I mean, you can't argue that economic science is completely 100% wrong from top to bottom. No, it gives you some insights. People make masses of money writing computer programs on that assumption and playing the stock market and getting rich. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. Okay, so the thing is that each unit analysis gives you a certain view of the world, and as we've discussed before, there will be some validity in that view. Okay? But the thing is to be conscious of what you're doing. Your economic scientist simply asserts unthinkingly that the economy is made up of rational individuals, rational actors. Did they ever think about that? I mean, if you think about it for a moment, it's obviously false. Okay? That'll do.